The first thing I want to say is I want to express my condolences to George Floyd's family, friends, those who knew him while he was alive. I don't know George personally. I'm pretty sure that most people who also saw the video as well don't know George personally. Most people that saw it. But I never wanted to do this video. I saw the video about maybe a couple hours ago, thereabout, somewhere around there. And I never wanted to do a live stream or video. I never wanted to talk about it because I just felt like I'm not sure if I'll be able to keep it together on a live stream. Like my wife was telling me about the incident before, right? But she was saying it to me while I was doing something. So it never really registered. It never really registered to me. So like, I'm like, okay. So I was doing something on my phone and I just happened to see the video, and I click play, and I lost it because I'm the type of person that I can't watch those videos. I can't watch those videos and just remain calm. It's almost impossible. It's one of the I can't. And I'm the type of person that I can't go to the movies and watch slave movies and stuff like that. I can't. Because I'm extremely passionate. I'm a man of justice, right? And so if I can, I try to avoid watching those videos. So I saw the video and there's a question that I have. I'm gonna try my best because I know this is public. I know that it's a live stream and I know that people are watching. So I'm gonna try my best to to keep it together for the most part. I'm gonna try my best to not, say certain things. I'm gonna try my best, but honestly, like I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen on this live stream in terms of what I might say or whatever, but I just felt like I'm like, okay, what can I'm like, okay, do I just not say anything? Would it help? And I just decided to. The question that I have is this, right? Because after I saw the video, I was talking with my wife. Like she was close by me. I was in the kitchen and I saw the video at the table. And I got very, very upset. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are upset as well. And the question that came into my mind, was this single question. A single question came into my mind because I saw the video. Right? And I saw that man with his knee on the man's neck. And you could see from his body language, you could see the intent to kill in that man. You could see it. There was nothing on his facial expression that would say to you, okay, this man is angry or whatever, but you could see just his body language was saying, as someone said in the video, that this guy was enjoying it. You could see that the man was deriving pleasure from slowly squeezing the life out of George, man. And I was so pissed. The question that I have in my mind, this is the question I was asking, and I want you guys to help me answer this question, please. Yes, I don't know George, but every time I see another black man in a position like that, another black person's life taken, every single time I see something like this, I feel it as though that was my brother, my father, my uncle, my grandfather, my friend, myself. And the question I'm asking, and I want you guys to help me answer, please help me answer this question, please. Because I'm not, I don't know what, like, the question I have is this. The- This is a question that's in my mind, right? Because we're looking at the responses, right? We see the news reports, we hear people talking. We heard what happened to the perpetrators, the criminals, the murderers, of course. They were fired. Cool. And I'm constantly my mind searches for solutions. And I'm pretty sure that there are people right now on the ground in America right now who are searching for solutions. People are asking questions right now. Like, people are asking questions. People are just people. Some people feel powerless. Some people feel helpless. People are wondering, like, another one again. So many questions I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what his family members are going through right now. I can't even imagine, because if I feel like this and I don't know him personally, how do they feel? I'm trying not. The question I have is simple. The question is this, Zin. The question is, because this is what I was thinking. Why I was one of the reasons why. One, I'm not sure if I can keep it together on the live stream, and two, I don't know if just coming on and talking is going to do anything. So I was like, I don't know. Like, am I going to come on? Am I going to talk? I don't know. I'm like, why? I'm like, so the question is this, like, is words enough? That's the question I want you guys to help me answer. And it's a question that's in my mind. It's a question that's in my mind. And I know this is live, and I know that I don't know, man. I just couldn't do nothing. I'm like, okay, I could just whatever, just make a post, or I could just get angry and whatever, and then I'm like, but I just want to come on and I know that a lot of people are upset right now, and the thing with it is that because so many people are upset, someone, I did a live stream a while back, and someone was saying something happened even before this. And someone was saying, no, we can't just get angry, and we can't just use our emotions and let emotions get the better of us or whatever, and we do this and that, and then we got to be strategic. We got to do this, and we got to do all these things. But only one thing came to my mind in that moment. One thing came into my mind in that moment. When I saw, I don't, yo, can someone, there's a link. There's a link in the description, a link in the bio somewhere. If you're watching on Facebook, it's to the, I think the right. On YouTube is down in the description. There's a link if you wanna to call and tell me, answer this question. I don't even know if don't even know if it will make any difference. You know, you guys know the work that we do on BJ. You guys know the work that we do, right? And I don't know if it's gonna make any difference in terms of this live stream I'm talking about, because only one thing came into my mind when I saw the video, man. I couldn't I couldn't finish watching the video because I there's a if if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I guess I'm just assuming that you guys know. If you don't, just go on YouTube, type in George Floyd, and you'll see the videos. And I saw this one. I was watching this one on Now This News on YouTube, and I don't think I'm gonna play it for you guys. Because 100% if I do that, then it's um yeah. So that video is a long version, so you saw everything, right? You heard the man saying what he was saying. You heard the commentary from the guys who were filming. You heard the commentary from the officer that was standing up. You heard a few words from the killer, the murderer. You saw his body language. You see every time the man told him that he couldn't breathe, that it was they're gonna kill him, that he's gonna die, that he adjusted his feet. The man was not resisting. You could see it in that man's face. You saw it. He knew exactly what he was doing. And in the same moment, you can see how he just did it. Someone is filming you. Someone is filming you. And you knelt down with your full body weight, cutting off the man's air supply, knowing full well what you're doing. Knowing that someone is recording you, but you know that the system is so dirty and corrupt that you can kill a man in broad daylight in public and someone film it and you still can get away scot-free. So the question I have is, is words enough? And what came to my mind in the moment, of course, hopefully I don't say it on this live stream. But the question in my mind, because I'm thinking, I'm like, imagine if this was my brother. I'm thinking this is what's going through my mind because I'm the oldest one. So I'm looking at him saying, imagine if this was one of my younger brothers. Imagine if that was my dad. Imagine if that was my uncle, my grandfather, or my friend, and I'm standing there. There's only one thing that came to my mind. One thing. One thing. One thing that came to my mind. One. If that was my brother, and I was there, and I was witnessing what I saw on that video, and you're telling me that this person, that they got fired? They got fired. They got fired from they got fired. You just killed a man. The world saw the video. The blind could see what took place. And you're telling me that you swore to protect and serve, protect and serve. And you are the individual who we're relying on to carry out justice. 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 Do they even know the meaning of the justice? Justice? This is another story, another one. Another story again, one more time again. I don't know, man. I'm thinking the solution that I feel, what I feel in my heart right now is not, yeah, it's not politically correct. It will be frowned upon. But so you're the one, right? You're the one who, if the one who should be upholding the law, if the one or the ones who should be upholding the law, the ones who should be serving and protecting, if these same people are not following the book, if you aren't following the book, if you aren't following the law, and your job is to enforce that law and you aren't following it, why should a civilian subject themselves to the law? Why should a civilian abide by the law? If the law, those people who are enforcing the law, if you yourself are not subjected to that same law, why should civilians subject themselves to the same law that you yourself aren't subjecting yourself to? Question. So if you break the law, it means that, can I break it as well? You're breaking the law. You broke the law. You break it many times because clearly you're above it. So if you're above it, then it means, well, I don't think I should listen to you then. Hmm? I don't know. I don't know, man. That's, when I came on the live, I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know, guys. Like I don't know, man. Like, I know. Yes, y'all see me. I'm just, I'm just here. I'm just talking. I'm just whatever, releasing whatever. But it's a serious question. I'm asking. I'm even asking God. I'm like, God, seriously. Like I'm asking. I'm like, I'm like, what did we do as a people? We went through that era, and now we're in 2020, and we're still subjected. Our brothers, our sisters in various parts of the world are subjected to these things in 2020. and we've been fighting for years, years and years and years, and we see, how is it possible for there to be video evidence? How is it possible time and time again? If it was anyone else, if it was anyone else, something would happen. But when it's a black person, it doesn't matter. No, it's not a life. It's not a life. And you would stare at the evidence, you see the video, you see everything, you see it, and there's no question, you see it clear as day, yet still nothing comes of it. You know, we argue, we complain, we stand on the sidelines and we plead with the executioner. We say, you're killing him, you're killing her. Don't you see this person is a human? This person has family, has life, can contribute so much to society. This person has a purpose. Can't you see? Don't you see? Don't you have anything in your heart? Don't you see what you're doing? Can you please stop? Stop, please. They keep on going. Dumb, dumb, dumb to our cries. Dumb. It's like we're speaking a foreign language or they can't hear the words. They have no feeling, yet still they go home. All the perpetrators, everyone that has done something like this, and the man in the video, and those who stood by and allowed their colleague to do what he did, go home to your families. You kiss your wife, you go into your house and, you love on your own family, your own flesh and blood. You hug your wife, you hug your son, your daughter, you sit down for dinner maybe. While you left an entire community, an entire family mourning hearts, shred to pieces. And you're sitting at your kitchen table, maybe, dining table, whatever, eating dinner like nothing happened today. Oh, just another day at work. One less black man to contend with, just one more. A job well done today. And then, so I asked the question. I don't know. Look, man, if y'all got the solution, I want someone to tell me what the solution is, because you don't want to come into my mind and see what I'm thinking. The question I'm asking is, I'm posing this question and I want you to answer it, because I'll try my very best not to answer this question. Because I really want to know the solution, because there must be a solution. So I'm asking everyone that's watching, is words enough? When is enough enough? When will it end? If you want someone to follow the law, please uphold the law yourself. Show that you respect the very law that you're demanding that we abide by, that we follow. Because if you yourself have no respect for it, and you believe that you're above the law, that looks like permission to me. I don't know. I just want to make one thing clear. I don't think we're powerless. Let me just make that clear. And I've said this before. I do not think we are powerless. Let me just make that clear. And for, of course, obvious reasons, I can't speak my mind freely, at least at this point. So I don't want anyone to think for a second that, oh, they're powerless. Far from. And you know what? And this is the thing, right? This is the thing. Most people who are watching right now, I know that most of you guys, you you've seen this before. We've seen this before many times. And we know the course of action usually. It's like going through the motions, you see it, you see the video, and you're like, yes, you see the video. So something must happen. You see the video, it's caught on tape. You're like, yes, all the evidence you need is there. And if we look at history, then it's going to be the same thing, like it happened, people get enraged, protests, person becomes a hashtag. Then we carry on with our lives. We go on because, hey, life goes on, right? But imagine if that was your father, as I said before, a loved one. And then the question, one of the question is, who's next? That's a question. Because it doesn't matter if you're a criminal. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a criminal. It doesn't matter who you are, actually. So you could be a suspect or look like a suspect of a non-violent crime. You could just be jogging. You could just be in a store purchasing something with your hard earned money and still get tackled by the police. You paid for it, but you're tackled. It doesn't matter who you are, how much money you have, how much money you don't have, how famous you are, how unpopular you are. Nothing matter. It doesn't matter. So the question is, who's next? Is it you? Is it my dad, my brothers? Is it me? Is words enough, guys? Someone is on the line. Someone just I'm gonna let this person on. I guess you know what. As I said, my condolences to his family's friends. Um, Something about that video, man. That video, I've seen other videos. We've seen other videos, but man. You could just see it. You could see it, man. You could see it. You could see. Hey, what's up?
Hey Ranjo, how are you doing?
Yeah, what's up? What's up?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you remember me, Lamin, from I was the one that went to Okinawa, but I guess like that's probably not the right time to talk about that right now. Um, so yeah, I also saw like the video today. Actually, I couldn't finish watching all of it right away. So because like you were saying, like just recently, like there was something different about this, like like among all the other videos that are similar to this, like. I mean, like one could say there's some sort of reasonable doubt in terms of like what happened, but this one was like undoubtedly like I mean, yeah, it's a heavy word, but I would just say it's just terrorism basically. Like, because the police, like, once you've been subdued, like you're supposed to be arrested, right? If they wanna go further with it, but this was just plain murder in plain sight. And but you're asking a question whether words are enough, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah. Is words enough?
I would say words are not enough, but they're the starting of like final solution basically, because you have to use words to communicate ideas and everything, how to you know move forward when something like this happens. But what baffles me basically, I have a follow-up question to that. Is like, I'm not sure if it's the same case for you as well. Is I do talk to a lot of people about these kind of things, but it seems like when is it gonna come to a point like what has to happen for people to take these kind of things seriously? Because I always feel like around my circle I'm like one of maybe one of a thousand that actually cares about these kind of things. Like I mean right now we're in an interconnected world, like so everybody's seeing these kind of things. So like why is it that like if you walk around this like among your peers or whatever, like I'm not saying talk about it like 24 hours 7 days a week. But why is it that this is not being brought up in the media? Like there's tons of media out there, and we all have internet and everything, and we can't pretend that this is not being seen by people. But like, why? The only time it's being brought up is in some sort of like breaking news, like sensationalism to like make money. Like just like okay, we've got the latest news, but nobody comes up with like okay, this is what has to be done. Like a reform or something like that. It's always in the because we know what the problem is. This is a big problem. It is a big problem, and I'm even for me like I really don't know the solution to that. But like it seems like it's always being sensationalized as in some sort of reality TV thing to the point wherein actually I'm worried that we're gonna be like desensitized to it. This one actually happened to be really horrible. That's why it's really hit a lot of us. But it's not the first one, and it wouldn't be the last one as well. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. And and by the way, I hate seeing you like this, but I understand though, like because you're a very positive person. But yeah. But anyways, thanks for letting me on. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
I can't come up with anything else. There's another person on the line, and I'm gonna let her on. I can't come up with anything else. There's only one thing that's in my mind. I can't come up with anything else. And the thing, even seeing the video, I would have to. I think everyone that's watching have seen the video, and just the posture, the The arrogance, the stance that no again. Man. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Let me just let Aline on. I believe. Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Hi, hi, Renzo. I'm just heartbroken right now, but it's an uh-oh. Am I hearing? I get feedback.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm on my computer.
You shouldn't be getting. No, you shouldn't be getting feedback.
Oh, you know what it is? I think it's because I have the YouTube channel open.
You're playing YouTube. Yeah?
Okay, so um, the problematic thing for me, first of all, I'm a mother of two young men, and I'm gonna try to hold it together. But um, what this situation reminded me of, as all the other situations that we've seen, is it takes me back. I wasn't there, but in movies and different scenes that I've seen, is the equivalent of a slave being lynched and hundreds of slaves standing around feeling um, not having any power to do anything. It's a fear. It's a fear that's been embedded in us. And it's an unfortunate thing. And you mentioned something about how can we change that mindset? Because if I was standing in the place, let me go back to childhood. If I'm standing in a place and one of my siblings is taking a beat down, I'm jumping in. That's no questions asked. So, how have we gotten to the place where we're so afraid to act on something that we know is wrong? And just how do we not, how is it that we can just be in this place and not do anything? That I don't understand. Number two is we've seen over the past few weeks, couple months maybe, how economics has crippled the United States.
Yeah.
If now this is a precursor, this shows us the power of economics and what it can do to the US. We have billions in spending power. If we stop spending money in the economy, I know we got to pay our rent and utilities and all that, but I'm talking about the extra stuff. If we stop spending, the black dollar has power. The protesting is not working. The tweeting and the sharing of all these incidents is not working. So what are we going to do differently that we've never tried before? It worked back in the civil rights movement. Why are we not willing to go there and try that? And I'm not casting blame. I'm not throwing shade, because it what would I do if I was standing there? It's something that we need to really think about. So I don't know.
Yeah. Um.
I just don't know. But I know if that was my, like you said, if that was my brother or my sister or my cousin, I'm sorry. I'm not doing this without a fight. And I'm not inciting violence, but what I am saying is I'd have to think about the consequences later.
It would definitely be a different story.
Yeah. So that's my little 2 cents.
Like what you're saying is, yeah, that might be if there was a way, for us to pull that off, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
If there was a way that we could actually really come together and do that, At least that way, what I'm thinking wouldn't be necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess that's one way. If you
I
know,
get,
and
but
it's funny.
I'm sorry.
The people that were standing by, as you said, because we understand the way the system is set up, right? So the people who are standing by, you can go into their minds and understand that, what, they're afraid as well. Because
Right.
if you try anything, right, to save a dying man, you would just be another number, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you know what would happen if a black person tried to stop that. More than likely, you're gonna get not if, you're gonna get shot. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you will die
Mm-hmm.
unless,
Unless it's 100 or
well,
50 to
not even
4.
that, but unless something else. But unless,
Yeah.
but yeah, but I won't I won't
I'm with you.
I won't venture down there. But the way I felt, because the thing is, the way I felt in the moment of just seeing the video itself, the just the I couldn't even, the reaction was involuntary.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
response was, and I was just thinking about someone if, but yeah, I think maybe, I don't know, man. Sometimes, like, I come on, because I'm just like, I just felt like I had to do. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, what? Let me come on. Maybe I don't even know. At least I don't know, but I had to do some type of action, something. I don't know, just something. This something, man. So
But you know what? Let me tell you something. I shared this with some other friends of mine today, and it is a terrible feeling to have to worry every single day of my life as a mother of 2 Black men, to wonder whether the very next call that I receive from the States is that something has happened to my son. And this is something that I have to live with, and every Black mother, father, sister, brother has to live with. Nobody else has to live with that. And that is a burden that we have to carry every day that we are on this earth. And it is an unfortunate truth. And I don't even know what to do with that. I honestly don't know what to do with that. I have a 30-year-old son right now in the state of Mississippi, and I am terrified every day that he goes to his job. Every day. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but that's my 2 cents.
it's almost like you feel like, the way it feels to me is like, you can't even. It's almost like you can't respond, because if you respond the way that you're being driven to respond, then it's just going to be, it's like you have no choice. It's almost like you got to go all the way. It's either you got to go all the way,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or it's almost, I don't even know what else. It's like you can't even say it, because now if you say certain things, so it's
Of
like
course.
you feel like you don't have a voice really. And
Mm-hmm.
if you, even if you try to protest or whatever, then you can still, it's like, it's almost like you're being stifled.
And you know what I find to be incredible? Just a few weeks ago, a number of men came into a Capitol building armed. Not one word, not one shot, not one weapon drawn.
Yeah.
But let's take it back to the Black Panthers way back in the day. What happened with that? When the law was, hey, you can carry. When everybody started carrying, oh, then the rules changed. So here we are again. Not angry protesters, went into a Capitol building with weapons. Oh, but they didn't look like you and me.
But you know what the crime is, right? You know the weapon. The weapon is the melanin, of course. That's it,
Of
right?
course. Of course. Yep. And it's
So I think, yeah, unless we can pull off like what you said, I don't know. Because I think that's the only other thing, that's the only other possible solution, I guess. And we would have to try that to see what happens.
we
But if
did it
that
for
doesn't
6
work,
weeks.
yeah, indeed, that happened, right?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
talking to someone about that, and I think the person was saying that because at that time, it's like almost everyone was at the same level, right? So it was
Mm-hmm.
easier. But now it's
Mm-hmm.
like some people are doing this, some people are believe they're okay. Everyone is doing something else, right? So it's like there's no really unity, no common, I guess, struggle in a sense. There is,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel that some people might feel sheltered or not a part of it, so they feel they're okay. So it's hard to get people to come together because everyone's like, "Look, I'm comfortable, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm here, I'm doing this, 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 this." So it's hard to get everyone to just look up and say, "Yeah, this is actually going on. I'm affected. Let's do this now."
And see, I'm not saying stop spending. I'm just saying spend with a black business. There are several mom and pop black owned grocery stores in several neighborhoods.
Yeah,
Get your groceries from there. That we have so many businesses out here that we can opt to spend our money there. Even if it's just one day, it would cause an economic shutdown. Imagine if it was 30 days. I'm just throwing out possibilities because I'm not going to complain without bringing a solution.
yeah. I think we need someone very influential in the U.S. to like, I don't know, to like use this as a catalyst.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if we don't do something, I'm wondering, I'm thinking like, when will this thing reach a fever pitch?
Hmm.
I'm wondering, I don't know, man. I
When
guess,
will it be enough? When
yeah,
will enough be enough?
there's only two solutions right now, I think, on the table. I guess potentially what you're suggesting,
Hmm.
or something else.
Hmm.
Because one thing I saw in the video, and it really really got me so, the level of arrogance. You're watching the video and someone is being killed
Hmm.
in public, eyewitnesses, it's been recorded,
Hmm.
and the posture, you could see it. It's almost like, I am invincible.
Hmm. Hmm.
Y'all can't touch me. I do this however I would like, whenever I want. Sit back, get some
Yeah,
popcorn, and just watch me do whatever I want. That
yeah,
was a posture.
yeah,
The arrogance.
yeah.
And in that moment, because I always talk about bullies, and I always, I tell people, usually sometimes on the live stream or the live streaming channel, I talk about bullies, and usually when it comes down to bullies, there's usually only one way. And if any of us have ever, like, like been in a position or whatever and seen bullies or whatever, you understand. There's only
Hmm.
one way. There's only one language they understand.
Hmm.
One. One.
Hmm. That's for real.
It's fun. I talk about the importance of human life. I tell people I understand the importance of human life, the potential, the purpose of every person, human potential, what one life represents, whether you like a person or not, they have a
Yeah.
purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and they have some significance. And as much as you love your siblings, your parents, your children, your spouse, whatever, that's the same way that they love theirs as well. And
Right.
connected to other people as well. We don't know them personally, but they love people just as much. If they die, their family will suffer just as much.
Mm-hmm.
And we see these things over and over again, and we get desensitized. And some people don't care, and you see people online writing things as though the man was nothing. And you
Mm-hmm.
think to yourself, imagine if I wonder if they would say the same thing if this was their brother or father or someone else. I'm pretty sure they would be singing a different song.
Mm-hmm.
I'm positive. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know, man. Because it's like, as I said, if there's one, if there's a response that I'm thinking about, you got to go all the way, and
Yeah.
that's not the way that we want to go. But it's like each time something happens, you're asking yourself the question, like, is words enough? Like, when is this going to end? What's the solution? What are we doing? Who is next? And you're waiting for it again. You're waiting to hear like to see another video surface. You're waiting to hear another news report. You're just waiting. You're waiting. You're waiting.
Mm-hmm. And see, I know oftentimes now, I'm gonna just put this out here. I am a Christian. And the reason why I'm putting that out there is because oftentimes we're taught, okay, well, pray about it, pray about it. But we also have to remember in the Bible, there were battles. There were battles that were fought in the Bible.
Serious battles too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my struggles, right? That's one of my struggle
Yeah.
because I'm asking God the question. I'm just like, like there's a part in the Bible that says something about vengeance is mine or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like I'm looking around for the vengeance. I'm looking around for the judgment. I'm just like, okay, it's been like a few centuries. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you understand? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, if someone is repentant and they whatever your past, but we're still living certain things in 2020 that pretty much existed back then, 500
Mm-hmm.
years ago, 400 years ago. That, as you said, that same scene that happened.
Yep.
But what? I don't know, man. I don't know. Of course, I can't say it, but
Yeah, we don't want you put off YouTube. We
yeah,
need you on YouTube. But I feel you. I feel you. I'm with you right there.
the,
It
the
is
the man was telling them, "Look, I can't breathe,"
yes.
multiple times. And I watched the leg of the murderer there. I saw he just twitched it a little bit, almost to like almost put a little bit more pressure there. Even the man
Mm-hmm.
is saying, I can't breathe. The man is literally not even moving. And then the people even said the man is no started to bleed. You're telling me that you, as a trained officer, don't you don't realize like, okay, snap, I'm overdoing it now. Like, okay, let's get the guy in the car.
And none
You're
of the other
able to
three
kill.
officers even had the
But we
mm,
know, we don't even need to rationalize or
mm-hmm.
we know. There's no need. We don't even need to break it down. We know you wanted to kill the man.
Right,
That's it. It's that
right,
simple. There's no. It's That's it. We don't even need
right,
to think about it for a second
right.
because you already have the man subdued. Already, it's done. It's over with.
Mm-hmm.
At least remove your leg.
Right, right.
But you're gonna get just maybe some leave or you get fired. You go for another job somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You're good. You're just living your life. Maybe you go to your other racist buddies and you probably just have a drink and say you did one today,
But
and
if
you
there
just
was a
carry
fight
on.
between two civilians and one civilian had another one subdued in that manner, both would be arrested and they'd figure it out in court whenever their time came up in court. You'd be sitting in jail because we'll get the story later. Immediate arrest. So until we realize that this system was not created for us, it wasn't. It was created against us. Then we would stop expecting the system to work for us. It's not. It wasn't made to work in our favor. It just wasn't. And we're not going to even go into history, but it wasn't created to work in our favor.
But I'm really honestly, I really have a legitimate have a legitimate question. I'm really wondering like when will it end? I'm seriously
Yeah.
I'm really contending with it. I'm really struggling right now. I'm like seriously like what will it take? Like what's the solution? No, one incident is too much. So we can't say, some people might say, well, this happens, once every whatever, and this one is too much. Once is too much.
Yeah. I don't know.
Right now, I have, you said you have two sons. I have two brothers
Mm-hmm.
in America right now, two sisters,
Mm-hmm.
my parents.
Yeah. Yeah. I have brothers, cousins, everybody is in the States. And they ask me, people don't understand. They said, well, how long are you going to be in Japan? I'm good. I'm good. I don't even ask me when I'm coming back to the States. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. So, but I don't want to monopolize the time, Renzo. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it. And
No problem. Thank you.
we're just going, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Hopefully.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Bye bye.
So guys, yeah, well, the love, I don't even know. As I said, like, I don't think words is enough. I don't think words is enough. I know that words are powerful, very, very powerful, actually. But what's needed, I believe, is something that will put a stop to this. What's needed is something that will, or at least dramatically reduce the occurrence. That's what's needed. Something that will prevent injustice like this to run rampant. And it really takes an extremely corrupt system, a system that has no regard for human life, extremely corrupt system, and one that has no regard for human life, for a person to be killed, murdered in broad daylight on video, like someone is shooting a movie or a vlog or something, like nothing is going on. People driving by like nothing is going on. Oh, another day. It takes an extremely corrupt system for something like this to happen on video, and it's almost like nothing will happen, will come of it. Nothing significant. Justice for the man won't be had. It looks like you take a person's life in the one of the most, and then you just lose a job. Okay, unemployment. You search for another job. You carry on. You're free and alive to kill another day, of course. Because after all, it was just a black man. I'm gonna leave it there, guys. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there. Sorry, I wasn't reading the comments. Um, yeah, someone said that they're not gonna watch a video. The way I came across the video, look, it was, yeah, I had no idea what I was about to witness. No idea, none. And I wasn't looking for the video. I was doing something and then I just saw, I'm like, and I just clicked on it. Or I thought it might have started playing automatic or something. I don't even know. I feel like, these things are, it's like you're pushing, you know, you're pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing. It's like you have a person that's decent and peaceful and chill, and everyone is like, oh, this person is so decent, this person is so calm, this person is so chill, this person is so nice. So you push. Person ain't gonna do anything. You push, push, keep pushing, push. They become more and more violent, more aggressive because person is not doing anything. You're pushing, and you keep pushing, pushing until one day. I pray that, let me not even, I don't even utter the words. I don't even utter the words. So I'll let those words remain in my mind. You know it's it's a very, very dark day. It's a very, very dark day when good men turn. When good men turn. You don't want good men to turn. Okay. 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 One more person said they want to call in. I'm just gonna, as I said, I don't think words is. I pose a question: is words enough? And I don't think words are enough. And we're just talking. Maybe, hopefully, we. So I'm gonna condolences. Well, one more caller, and then I guess we'll just have maybe some conclusion or something, and then because I that's one of the reasons I never wanted to come on, because I don't like feeling like I'm just talking, and then it's like, oh, you just came on, you just talk for like a few minutes, and then that's it, and then everyone is like, okay, I did my part. Okay, whatever, just carry on, and then you just carry on with your own life. Well, the family are mourning, but I came on for you guys to help me answer this question, because I'm really trying to figure it out, if really maybe something is wrong with me, because I'm trying to figure out if words are enough. What's up? What's up, Jamal? How you doing?
Hello.
But I came on for you guys to help me answer this
What's
Yeah, can you pause? Can you
going
pause the
on?
pause YouTube? Because I'm really trying to figure it out if pause YouTube. Really You have to pause YouTube because I'm hearing myself. If words are enough. Are you there?
Can you hear me? Hello.
What's up? Yeah. What's up, Jamal? How you doing?
Hey, hey.
No, no.
Yeah,
You need to mute YouTube because it's you're playing. It's either or you need headphones. It's either you need headphones or you need to mute YouTube or close the tab because I'm hearing myself.
okay, okay.
Words are enough.
Is that better?
Yeah, yes, good now.
Okay, okay. Yeah, this is a very
We already saw your face, so just be
somber
aware. Just
moment.
wait. In case
Wait.
you're gonna say anything, we saw your face, so just don't say anything incriminating. Okay?
Okay.
Or any yeah, all right.
Yeah, I just want to.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to say that this is a very somber moment in America. I saw the video and I was just stunned that something like this happened in broad daylight in front of other people while they're recording. They had that guy had the gall to do that in front of other people, and he just he murdered him, and it's mind blowing.
Yep.
And I hope that he will end up in prison. I hope the justice system will be just
Yes.
and have him end up be in prison for many, many, many years. He deserves it. Um, and the reason why I'm upset, not just because someone, an innocent man was murdered. I'm upset because I'm a black male um, who has been profiled by the police, and I've been carrying this anger for a long time, and I know I need to release it. I need to truly forgive the police for what they've done to me. But can I share what the police have done to me?
Oh
Um,
yeah. I speak
I
freely.
yeah, I go to a public park near where I live. It's a very nice area, and I would drive to the park a lot. and I would sit in my vehicle and just, read books or just, surf the internet, whatever. I just like to chill at the park, sitting in my car and, watch squirrels crawl up a tree. It's a very nice area. So I would just sit there on the street adjacent to a public park and just chill, maybe like an hour or two a day on average. So this happened several times. The cops will, pull over next to my car and ask me to show me my ID. Um, and I would do that at times. I would do that, with no problem. But then it started to really get to me because I know that they're profiling me. And there's another guy who would go to the park and do the same thing that I'm doing. He's an older white man, and he would just sit in his car and read his book, right? On the street adjacent to the public park. And I'd ask him, I'm like, hey, do the cops ever ask for your ID? He'd be like, no. I'd be like, wait a minute, they always ask for my ID. What's going on, And mind you, I just got to put it out there. I don't look shady or sketchy or anything like that. Sometimes I go to the park to jog or to walk around the park because I like a little trail that goes around the park. So I'm not, I don't look suspicious or anything like that. I'm just a black male sitting in my vehicle. Okay.
Look, all you gotta do to be suspicious is be black. That's it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Just be black. That's it. What else do you need?
Okay. So let me tell you what the cops had done to me when I refused to show them my ID. One time I was sitting in my vehicle. This is a true story. I accidentally fell asleep in my vehicle. This is broad daylight too, right? I wake up hearing a cop saying to me, "Put your hands on the steering wheel." I'm like, well, what's going on? I'm like, kind of, blood is trying to get back to my brain, so I'm kind of slow. I'm like, what's going on? And I hear, "Put your hands on the steering wheel." I'm like, well, okay. And I put my hands on the steering wheel. I look in my rearview mirror and I see a cop pointing his gun at me. Then he walks over to the driver's side of the vehicle, and he tells me, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought your vehicle was stolen." And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, all right, I'm like, I'll let it go. Have a nice day, right? And he's like, well, I need your name. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to give you my name because after being profiled for many times, I'm like, I made up my mind. I'm not going to give out my name to the police officers again because I don't appreciate being profiled. So yeah. that was like my own principle there, right? So I was like, I'm not going to give you my name. So soon after, another cop pulls up, and she's like, "Are you here with anyone else? There's some burglaries in the neighborhood." I'm not giving her like full response. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to talk to you. And she's like, well, if you're not going to show us your ID and your name, we're gonna take you to the police department and we're gonna question you. I'm like, fine. I know the law. I don't have to show you my driver's license because I'm not driving. I'm sitting in my car, but it's not being driven. And so she tells me to get out the car, and they frisk me, which feels like molestation. It's very violating, especially when you're not a criminal, you're not doing anything wrong. She handcuffs me. She has me sit on the curb. And she does a background check, and she's like, you know what, we're gonna let you go. And I'm like, just have so much anger inside of me because of what she done to me, right? And that's one of the experiences I had. There's another experience where I was laying back in my vehicle at the same area. This one cop, he didn't even like, tell me to. He didn't even ask me for my name or anything. He just literally pulled aside of my car, and he got out of his car, opened up my door, and just handcuffed me and frisked me and threw me in the back of his police car. And a bunch of cop cars came like 2 minutes later in the same area.
Are you serious?
I'm completely serious. And I'm like, why did you handcuff me? Are you gonna even give me a reason why you handcuffed me and threw me in the back of your car seat? He's like, well, well, it seemed like you were hiding because you're sitting back in your car seat, and I'm like, is this guy serious? And of course they find nothing on me and they let me go. He doesn't even apologize. I'm like, this is crazy. And
Yeah.
there's another incident where I was at the park and I fell asleep. I sometimes I fall asleep when I'm reading, so it was like maybe like midnight, and I'm sitting in my car, and a cop pulls over with his flashlight, and are you homeless? Are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm okay. He's like, well, can I see your driver's license? I was like, no, I don't. I'm not gonna show you my driver's license. And it seemed to me like I stepped on his ego. Like it seemed like he was kind of one of those cops that have a big ego. Like, hey, you
Yeah.
don't disobey my authority. So he's like, you know what? Get out the car. Get out the car. And I was like, and I told him, beforehand, I was like, I don't consent to you to frisk me, and I don't consent for you to search my car. So he handcuffs me. He searches me anyway. He throws me in the back of the cop car, and he goes through my car to search for my ID. And I'm thinking in my head, this guy is crazy. This is, he's violating my constitutional rights. So he grabs my ID and he does a background check. And of course, he finds nothing because I have no criminal record. I'm completely clean. And I'm pissed off. I'm mad. I was like, you know what? Give me your badge number and call your supervisor. And his supervisor comes, and I tell him, listen, this guy is profiling me. He searched through my car, and there was a couple sitting in their car, parked behind me, and he didn't ask them for their ID, right? And of course, they weren't black. So I was telling his supervisor, like, yeah, how come he didn't, profile the other couple, but he profiles me, and he searched through my car, and the supervisor was like, he was just defending them. So I'm like, this is crazy. But there's good news. There's kind of good news here, okay? So I file a complaint to the sheriff's department. A few days later, the captain, I believe he is the captain, he calls me into the sheriff's department, and I talk to them, and he figures out I'm a Christian because I have a Christian t-shirt on, and he's a Christian, and he's like, hey, I'm a Christian, and what church. So we're having small talk, and he's like very cool, really down to earth, and he was like, you know what that cop did was wrong. He shouldn't have searched your car. He shouldn't have treated you that way, and so. So we had a really good talk, and he was very sympathetic. So, that was a good experience. So a few days after that, he calls that cop in to apologize to me. And I was like, you know what, I forgive him.
Wait, did he apologize?
Well, I didn't go back to the sheriff's department to hear his apology, but he said that he was called in to apologize to me.
Okay.
But I just wanted to let it go, because I was like, you know what, I don't, just have him not do it again, and I'll just let it go. So before this, I was very neutral towards cops. I was like, you know what, I know there's both sides to a story. Maybe some people instigate, the cops to attack them or whatever. I don't know. Each case is different. So I'm just very neutral towards cops, After my experiences with cops, now I am not neutral. Dude, I'm not, seriously not. I don't trust. I can never trust a cop again.
Because you see that people weren't lying.
Yeah, and I know there are good cops, because I had good interactions with good cops, but I just from my experience, I just can't have myself to trust a cop again. When you are someone in authority that the community, puts their trust in you to protect and serve, and you don't do that, you step over boundaries to hurt others and to abuse your authority, that just destroys any kind of trust that the citizens should have towards you,
Yeah, because
But
what I'm wondering is if someone, I'm like, what can you do then? Because if you film, nothing happens, right? If you make a complaint, maybe like in your case, at least you found some common ground, with the sheriff, or and something happened there, kind of. But like, what can you do? Because if you film, nothing happens. They might get some paid vacation, or they might get fired or whatever, while at the same time you're dead, or whatever the case is. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, so what can people really do? Can people really rely on the law? Like, what can people really do where they can have some confidence in something, where you can say, if this happens, this is a course of action, this is what I need to do, and I know that justice will come from this thing. I can't believe someone has a video showing everything that you need to see, and still
Right.
it's like, okay, someone literally killed someone, and all he got was fired. I don't understand. So I'm saying, what can the people really do? You understand? So it's man, it's and as you said, all you gotta do is be black. But you understand it very well. You understand it. We all understand this. We all understand this. Only black people look suspicious. No one else does. If we wear a hoodie, you understand? Anyone else can wear a hoodie. Anyone else can look disheveled their hair, whatever, look a certain way, and they're fine. But if a black person is in that position, it's a different story. Your very life is in jeopardy.
Right, right. It's I don't know how to remedy this situation. Yeah. Even with the case in Minnesota, they filed. I found out that many people have filed complaints against that the murdering officer. What was his name? Derek Chauvin. Chauvin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. There were many complaints filed against him, and they, I don't know the details of the complaints, but you know, people are trying to do something, but the police departments, they're not doing enough to. Um,
So it seems like, so they know, so pretty much, so they know the problem cops then. So those cops who say they're good cops, I don't think they're truly good unless you do something. If you know that you have a bad apple or apples in the bunch, y'all need to do something about these people, because you're not truly good. If you see a man that's doing something wrong, whatever the case is, and you say you're good, and you know that that's corruption or whatever, and you don't do something about it, then you're just as guilty. It's almost the same thing when they say, like, you're an accessory to something. If you give someone your car to go and commit a crime or whatever, it's the same thing. I'm like, you say you're a good cop and you see the guy doing something, you need to do something about it. And this is the next thing too. Like, someone can be a racist person and hate black people to the core, wants to rid the world of black people, and they can just go into the academy and just become a police officer, and then you have no, you can legally do whatever you want. I'm like, is there any vetting process? I'm not sure how this thing works. So anyone can go and
yeah,
do whatever they want. So now your life as a black person is in jeopardy. Like, every time a cop roll up, because you don't know, is this like a good person, or is this a person who just went in so he can actually execute without repercussion?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think maybe the police training should be extended. I don't know, maybe a year or two. I don't know. Maybe people who want to become a police officer should take classes in ethics, and I don't know. Maybe they should be more, in, more stringent vet, like a vetting process. I don't know, to tell you the truth, but there's something needs to be done, because I've had way too many interactions with cops where they're just foul and dishonest. I could tell you another story. This is many years ago, um, when I was driving like an Oldsmobile. So, it's not a really good looking car, but my dad bought me this car when I was going to the university. So, and I would drive that car around. And I remember one time a police officer pulled me over. He just gave a glance at me, and he made a U-turn and pulled me over. And he was trying to pin something on me. Like, he was trying to find anything criminal about me, and he couldn't. He even searched to see if I was wearing contacts because on my driver's license it reads I wear contacts. So after he didn't find anything on me, like, because I have a clean record,
Yeah.
he was sniffing the inside of my car. He was like, "Do I smell marijuana in your car? I smell marijuana." I'm like thinking myself, like, wait a minute, I don't even smoke marijuana. What is this guy talking about? I'm like, this guy is so dishonest, and it just got me angry because this guy was just trying to find something wrong with me, like something criminal about me. And I filed a complaint with the sheriff's department through online, um, and they didn't even respond to me. So, um, yeah. So at that point, I knew that some cops can really be corrupt and dishonest. And yeah, and man, that's why today I have absolutely no trust for cops. When I see cops drive by because of my interactions with them, I actually kind of tense up. I kind of like, oh my gosh, is the cop trying to? Is he going to profile me or whatnot?
I think almost all black people have that reaction. Almost, I think most people have that reaction. Most black people, who've had some encounters have that reaction, and it's true. You see a cop car coming immediately, you start thinking. I feel like if we should check every black person's like heart rate or blood pressure the moment you see a cop car, I believe it's elevated. If you try any person, because in that moment it's almost like fight or flight, even when you know you're innocent, because that doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter if you're innocent or not. It doesn't matter if you don't have a criminal record. It doesn't matter if you don't know any criminals. It literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just being a black person alone is all that's needed. As you said,
No.
you're driving, they see you. All they want to see is they can see that you're black through your window. That's all they
Yeah.
want to see, and that's all the information they need. So that's the problem. So it doesn't matter, right? But
Right.
but Jamal, man, I'm glad you're still okay. I'm glad you're safe. There's another person here, so I'm gonna grab them real quick and see what they have to say, man. But stay safe, bro.
All right, and thank you for having me on. God bless you. Okay.
All right, take care, man. I
All right.
appreciate it.
Take care.
Mr. Eston, what's up?
Morning, morning. How you doing? Thank you for doing this show. Thank you for I guess bringing this subject up. Because I know that you're not here in the United States, but you're in Japan, and the
Yeah,
fact that you gave it you gave it some recognition, and it's important to you. That's something that even at this point in time, a lot of people not doing. And I thank you because it gives us a place to talk to get our message across to a lot of other people,
yeah,
also are similarly concerned. Um, the question that was asked on this a couple of times in the last exchange that you had with the brother preceding me is what what can be done or what do we need to do? And unfortunately, um, I think that we all know what has to be done, and we all know what can be done. We know what has been done over a long period of time, even before our a lot of our being born. Many
yeah,
things have been tried, many different steps and courses of action have been taken.
yep,
And at the end of the day, unfortunately, there's only one that seems to really be left. Um, and again, I'm not gonna comment too much on that, but
yeah,
nobody deserves, nobody was was brought into this world to be victimized in this fashion. Um, and it's increasing over time. It's getting worse, and it's becoming more of a concern for some people because, I mean, all of us, we all growing older. There's a point when you think about the idea of bringing children into this world, bringing another life into this world, and is it really something that you feel is a responsible thing to do, given what you know this person is now going to encounter?
yeah,
And to sort of piggyback on what the brother before me was saying, I've lived a life of poor experiences with law enforcement and the legal system. And unfortunately, I've been able to deduce from that that it's basically a result of being who I am. And for whatever reason, and I can extrapolate on that however much I would like to, but for whatever reason, my being who I am is a problem given the way the society runs. But that's nothing that I can change, and it's nothing that I should be required to change. And it is beyond unfair. It's unacceptable, and it's something that can't be dismissed when somebody makes you and your nature as a human being unacceptable to the point where they deem it um um to be penalizable by death or by abuse, right? I've
Yeah.
been from preteen years, I've been profiled, arrested, pursued by police. I know for a fact that I have parents who've been pursued by police simply for the fact that they knew that they can do it. And in doing that, they are one, they gratify some drive that they have in themselves. But on the second hand, they also enforce this idea of having this ability to control you and to do what they want with you. And
Yeah.
I realized that maybe like 6 or 7 years ago when I got into an unfortunate situation with again with police. I was literally in a playground. And in a playground, they have an area where adults go to exercise.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason on this day, well, not for whatever reason, as a part of this gentrification program that goes on in our neighborhoods, this day the police decided to police this area very severely. And in the course of it, I was beaten and I was jailed. Um, and after being jailed, I had to, I needed some assistance because they, of course, had given me a court date, and I had employment that was now going to be impacted by this situation.
Yeah.
And I spoke to somebody with regards to that to find somebody who's a lawyer to assist me to go through this process so that it don't affect me. The man who I spoke to said some words to me, and among the words he said to me, I was on the phone with him. He's a man older than me, and on the phone he says to me, "I know this is a painful situation. I know it's bad, but you have to just keep your head down and try to move forward." And when I really thought about that, it that kind of, I guess, was really a real turning point for me, because I don't know what possesses a man to speak to another man, a younger man than himself, and tell that person to make themselves smaller or lesser in a situation. The instinct of a man is to stand up. But this man literally told me, keep your head down and try to get through this. Even though he proceeded that with telling me he knew that the situation was wrong and he knew it was bad. And I just said to myself, what? They already broke us. Like, all the people who I'm going to for advice, they're already broken. They beaten, they bent. And
Yeah.
that's when I realized that really the situation that we have when we sit down and we wring our hand and we ask what we supposed to do is because we refusing to accept what we got to do. And in addition to that, when I realized that, I started becoming aware of certain things. And part of what I became aware of is something that anybody who's curious, I'd like them to look into. It's something called, it's a concept called Rahowa, right? This thing has been around since the 50s, but it increasingly it gains traction. And specifically with now the era that we're in politically, with the person who's in the leadership of this country itself and other places around the world, is gaining more traction, and we're starting to be able to, or we less able to deny the fact that it's directly related to what we experiencing, right? In in the 80s, in Georgia itself, there was a series of missing children. All of them were young black children, around I think 30 plus. And there was a recent expose done on television, which actually revealed the possibility, or not the possibility, but something that was overlooked and not investigated, intentionally not investigated, was that there had been evidence that this was a declaration made, um, or an intentional declaration made, or declaration of intent made by what was then the Klan group through individuals that they had connection to in law enforcement. And you increasingly begin to see the behavior pattern, that sort of a behavior pattern being met out by people who are in position of law enforcement and have the power to exert lethal force.
But what does that mean? You said Rahowa. What does that mean? What's that?
That concept is it's like an acronym for an idea of a racial holy war. That's why they call it Rahowa. And
I
that
see. I
started
see.
in the 1950s. I think it was by it was a Southern politician who started an organization which called the creativist church or
I see.
creationism. And this organization still exists today, and they're growing in not necessarily their numbers, but their reach, the people that they have contact with, and the ability to communicate their message to. And this thing, the way that we are living and the way that we're experiencing it, the view or the perspective is that it's picking up steam, right? And I'm saying that because I'm not trying to make your channel and what they call an inflammatory channel, but I do want people to have the ability to be aware of something, to look it up, and then to be able to say, in an honest fashion to themselves, yeah or no. You understand? But even when you think about the history of policing, brother Randall, is that policing in the United States literally began at the point in time of Reconstruction, after the fall of the Confederacy, when they had Black people now no longer confined to the premises of a plantation, but now being able to travel freely. That's when they started vagrant laws and laws of that nature. Because one, you had a group of people who you could create a condition of enforcement around, because those people didn't have homes at that point in time. The home was the plantation. When they were released forcibly from the plantation, they had to acquire dwelling. And so now you could create this idea of a vagrant. But before then, you had vagrant people in the white community. They were not policed the way after that point they did Black people. And the reason that policing changed was because the specific goal and intent was the control and the enforcement of the Black body. And that has persisted, right? And we have found ways to sort of look around it or accept our being redirected from it. But because we've been doing that, we've never been able to actually deal with it or force somebody to deal with it or force somebody to come to the table and come to terms and literally outright uh, be very forthcoming about what those terms are and what this situation is. So we've been dealing under a lot of side talking and side stepping. And now we're at the point in time where we are continuously and increasingly losing our life. And maybe it's just the fact that we have the technology to expose it. And it no longer seems as though, or it's no longer acceptable amongst us to really deny the fact that, yeah, people are being abused and being murdered simply because we look like them and they look like us and we are Black people.
Yep.
And now that literal truth that it's becoming increasingly difficult for you to deny is putting you in a position where you have to make a specific determination. And the determination is very simple. It's whether you are willing to die for the sake of somebody else's desire and gratification, or whether you choose to ensure that you will live despite somebody else's choices about you. That's it. It's either you determined to live or you accept that somebody else has the right and the privilege to make that determination about you. And that's the simplest, least offensive way that I can make the statement to us.
Understood, man.
There's no way for us to go around it. We really can't. This idea that police, when they say serve and protect, the service is not to us. The protection is not for us. The service that they are doing is protecting other people from us, or from the idea of us, from the imagined contrived threat of us. And we have to stop and feeding this sort of falsification to young black people when they're growing up, because they grow up with this sort of the same thing that we grew up with, this almost this schizophrenia, where you see something and you feel like you should trust it, but it always operates in a way that it puts you in danger, and you continuously behave against your best interests as a human being. And so that's part of it. We got to start being really truthful about this. It's not really confusing. It is simple. It's unfortunate. It's a harsh place to be in, but it's very real. We have to get serious about our life and the value of our life. And maybe that extends into a larger discussion outside of this, which is about all of the things that we have been led to believe and to involve ourselves in and to engage in, and the institutions and the philosophies and all these things. Maybe that also adds into that question of the value of us as individuals, and whether or not we do have a reason and a right to defend that and to assert that in a similar way that it seems is being done. Because you can't find no justification for genocide that done lasted for, I mean, a genocide that is extended for over 600-700 years. This preceded the point at which black people were trafficked across the Atlantic. This type of behavior was preceding that, because in order to traffic those people, you have to be able to engage them in a specific fashion, to entrap them and to capture them, and then to use them as cargo. So the thinking preceded that, and so this sort of behavior towards us preceded that as well. Even when you look into, and you pardon me for going further, but it's just to give us more reinforcing information for us to analyze the situation through. Even when you look into the history of what people say is quote unquote black on black atrocity or black on black crime, if you break down an analysis, you find that the root of it is really the root of the sort of atrocity and brutality that you see, that you currently see and have an issue with among black people. You see that is a result of the interaction with and the behaviors of, or the actions of external people, or European. When you look at what went on in Sudan, and when you look at what went on in Rwanda, you see that the French were involved in Rwanda heavily, to the point that they divided people and then pitted people against each other and then armed people in order to create that conflict. In Sudan, you see that was an external group of people from the Arab world who incited a group of people who had a different faith than others who were the same as them, one group of black people to another, and then created an instance in which they would wipe those non-Islamic people out. When you look at the instances, when you talk of what's going on in the Congo, you look at the history of the Congo. The Congo was actually owned at one point in time by the monarchy of Belgium, King Leopold, and he was the individual who first instituted as a rule the abuse of those African individuals in specific fashions that still persist today. The removing of hands of children, the separation of children from parents and putting them into work camp, the rape of women in front of their families, the separation of men and women in that effect, and the creation of armed groups to regulate that population. So you see that the first lynching
It seems like your connection is deteriorating.
in history
It's like, are you there?
was done by the
Can you hear me? Like every time you speak like a couple words, you go silent for a few seconds and then your voice
Germans
reemerges. Can you
in
hear me? Okay, something is up with your connection.
Namibia. No? All right, brother. Well, I've said enough where I'm going to say. I just want to communicate that. But I thank you for the platform. All right.
I respect, man. Take care.
All right.
Yeah, like I understand exactly what he's saying. And we're approaching the end of this live stream, for instance, and I'm just thinking, I'm thinking, man, you still, yeah, man, like I don't know, man. I hear exactly what he's saying, and we can't really articulate certain things, but it's one of those things that you can't blame a man for thinking a certain way right now. You can't blame a man, right? When it comes down to certain emotions and things that we're feeling, you can't blame a person for feeling the way they feel. Especially when things repeatedly happen, and when it could have just as easily been yourself or someone you love or care about, or someone you're close to, your friend, whatever. You can't blame a person. When you see these things over and over again, happening over and over again. And it's the same thing that happened when someone, like the guy that called earlier, and he's like, look, man, Jamal, like when he was saying, like his perception changed because like these people were just profiling him way too much. And any human, I don't care what any person want to say, it doesn't matter how decent you are. It doesn't matter who you are, whatever your disposition, nothing matters. If someone annoys you or like profile you consistently for an extended period of time, you can literally wear almost any person out. And there will come a time when whether you decide, look, man, yo, I ain't showing you this, I ain't doing that, I ain't doing whatever the case is, because you've subjected yourself to it 100 times. And we're all human. So when you see something happen on a video or someone and they're saying, well, the person should say this or say that, the reality is, I get it. But sometimes if you face the same thing 150 times, there comes a time when they're just tired. And you might decide on a day to say, listen, man, I remember even the video, I believe it was Eric Garner, right? When he's like, man, not today. Because you go through it so much that there's a day that you're like, man, not today, man. I'm tired of this now, man. So you can't complain. Like no one can say anything about the way someone feel right now, or the way we feel right now, or the things that people are talking about right now. You can do something one, two time, but if you do this all the time, and if your life is riddled by these instances, what do you expect? You yourself know. If you go through something and someone is annoying you or doing something to you repeatedly, they're going to wear you out. There's going to be a time when you're going to be like, enough is enough. We're all humans. People can only take so much. So the way we're feeling right now, the things that we're talking about right now, is because it's not the first time. And this thing happens so much. And these people can do whatever they want with impunity. It doesn't matter if it's daytime, nighttime, in the middle of 100 people, one person in a corner of a street jogging. It doesn't even matter what you're doing, man. It doesn't matter the circumstance. If you're black, you're at risk. And when you're looking at your options, you're saying, like, you're looking at your options, you're saying, well, self preservation, myself, my family, those that will come after me, those I love and care about. And you look at the history, that's why people feel powerless, and that's why people stand by and see things like this happening, and they're trying to call out and appeal to the humanity of the killer, right? Because people feel like, well, if I do something, if I try to rescue this person, then I can lose my life as well. So people feel powerless now. Even if you go out and protest, you're almost putting your life in jeopardy again because, oh, well, y'all can't protest, whatever the thing is. I don't even know. They determine how you protest. And they come out to meet you in the streets. So people feel powerless. It's like you don't have to look. It's like, for instance, if you don't look like the person, if you're not black, then maybe you could intervene and then your life would be secured. You guys have seen videos. Because I'm thinking to myself, if one of those black person that were there tried to assist a man to be like, nah, man, they would be gunned down, no question. But if another person was there who wasn't black and they went over to try like physically remove the cop, they would probably still be alive. They would probably live. We've seen stuff. We've seen how people fighting police that are not black people and they live to tell the tale. How many black people could do that and live to tell the tale? So we know that the system is not just. So when we're looking and weighing our options and we're looking around and saying, what else? What else can be done? As the guy said that just called, before us, people have tried so many things trying to attain equity, justice, the same thing that everyone wants. You don't want to take anything from anybody. You just want to be able to live freely as a human, do what you want to do without someone disturbing your peace, worrying about police every time you see the siren, you see you're walking by a cop, you're wondering like, oh, is he going to stop me? Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? You're thinking about this. You can't walk in peace. You can't. You feel like you're a criminal when you aren't a criminal. You get pulled over, you might be saying to yourself, this might be the day. And so we're going through our minds and we're wondering what is the solution. And we've had so many conversations, years pass. Every time someone dies, we have some type of conversation. And it seems like it doesn't prevent someone else from dying. More blatant, more brazen. Not even capturing it on video helps. Can you imagine? And then within a few days, we forget about it. We start partying again and we're just like, okay, cool. The outrage subsides until we see another video, until another video surfaces again. Then we start the cycle and we ask the questions. And that's why I'm posing the question. Is words enough? What's the recourse? almost seems, well, it almost seems like it's a conundrum almost. Because the thing is, it doesn't matter. Like when it comes on to if people are saying, listen, man, we need to hit them where it works, where it hurts, I should say, or works with the money. We probably won't be able to get enough people together to do that. It might be possible, but it might take some event that every person might feel that they are in immediate danger as well, for people to maybe band together and say, okay, we're going to do this thing. I think we're too divided maybe, but I don't even want to go down that road right now. Because I think we all feel this. And if we go the next route, the dark route, then that's going to be mayhem. And no one wants to go that route. We shouldn't have to go that route. So is it that we're all blind? You know, those who say they uphold justice, is it that we're all blind and they're blind and they can't see? Is there a veil over their eyes so they legitimately and genuinely cannot see injustice? Or is it just that their hearts are so callous and they're so unfeeling that they don't care? They literally do not care. Do they have a way of seeing the world that we can't understand? I'm wondering if that's the case. Like, do these people, the guilty, do they suffer from some form of mental malady that we're not familiar with, so we can't understand the way their mind works? Because I'm trying to wrap my head around it to see if I'm like, am I seeing something that other people can't see? Are we seeing something that other people can't see? Do you have to walk in a man's shoes literally and experience the exact same thing literally for you to see that there's a problem? That can't be the case, because you can't operate a society like that, because there's so many different people. So unless you're experiencing what I'm experiencing, unless my experience and your experience is the exact same thing, then what I'm saying is a lie. So those who swore to serve and protect, those who are in positions of power where justice should be mete out to the masses, they can't see. Well, all I can say is, rest in peace to George Floyd, and my condolences to his family. And my hope is that something, comes of this, that justice definitely rolled down as a mighty stream. You've heard that one before. My hope is that justice. Is there such a thing as justice? That's all. It's not even that complicated. It's not even that complicated what we're asking for. Because it's something that every person wants. Every person wants, I'm sure, to feel safe, to have peace of mind, to experience peace, to pursue happiness. It's not something that's alien to humanity. What we're asking is not that hard because every person wants it. Every person can identify with that. So I don't see what's so hard about what we desire. So are you telling me that people are so evil? Is it that people are so evil? No, I'm wondering if people are people that evil. I don't understand it. But all I can say is you don't want good men to turn. Because I believe in the end, it doesn't matter how you try to avoid it and run away from it and try to do whatever, justice will prevail eventually. Guys, I know this video was this live stream. When I came on, I knew the energy wasn't a positive energy. I understood all that, but I wanted to come on and I wanted to ask a question. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's I usually don't like doing things that um I don't know if it's gonna help or something that probably won't bring about a solution, but I don't know, I wanted to come on and just talk about this and ask you guys a question, and maybe I don't know, maybe someone was listening or something, and they would just decide that, okay, you know what, um they're gonna follow this thing through to the end, or maybe start some organization or something. I don't know, something that where people want to rest until this is something that becomes very, very rare. That these occurrences will become very rare. Because even though it's dark, even though it's bleak, I still believe that what we want and what we're aspiring to is possible. It's possible. Because think about it for a second. If we've come so far, first of all, we're a strong people, extremely strong people. We've come through so much and we're still here. Can you believe that? Can you believe that black people still walk the face of the earth after all that we've been through? I'm sure like that within itself, guys, is just something that shows how strong we are. Don't underestimate that. The strength, how strong we are. So we've come so far. And of course, let me just even say our history as black people never began in slavery. So let's just say that that's not the beginning of black people. Our existence predated slavery. So let's just get that out of the way. But we came through that period. which we can't even imagine the atrocities. Because if we're experiencing this in 2020, and people can do this in broad daylight and be filmed and get a slap on the wrist, can you imagine what we had to put up with, our predecessors, our forefathers, for parents, what they had, or our ancestors, what they had to go through? If 2020 we saw what we witnessed in that video, can you imagine? I don't even think our imagination can even create the picture or fashion that experience in our, like that they went through back then. I don't even think we can imagine. And we've come all this way. So that within itself, if we're looking at that, it means that something can be done. It means that what we want is possible. And it's not too much. And hopefully we can get to that place through discourse. Hopefully we can get to that place by good women and good men speaking up and doing that which is right, doing that which they were, given the authority that they have to do. Hopefully those people won't remain silent and do what needs to be done. Those in the judicial system, those within the police department who say they're good police officers, those politicians or community leaders who say they're good, well meaning. Hopefully, those people who are in those positions of power and those people with influence do something about it and not sit back, turn a blind eye, and remain silent because of whatever repercussions they're thinking about or whatever the case is. If they're in a position to make a change, hopefully they do something about it and understand that the life that they lead is just as valuable as the life that was taken. And they can see the importance of them actually saying something, doing something, whether or not you're a black person or not. If you're in any of these positions and you declare or consider yourself to be a person of justice or a good individual, a good citizen, a good civilian, whatever, you have to do something. Utilize that which you have to make a change, to make a difference. No longer sit back and be silent. Because if you do so, you too are a part of the problem. And this problem continues because of your silence, because of your inaction, because of your inactivity, because you're turning your blind eye. Hopefully, this is the last hashtag. Like, hopefully these people who do these things get their just punishment to the fullest extent of the law. Remember, whoever those people are, remember, man, remember why you were given the position. Remember your oath. Just remember, y'all. So, guys, I'm gonna conclude there, and do whatever you can to, do whatever you can. Yeah, do whatever you can to, move this forward. Let your voice be heard. As I said, I don't think words are enough. We have to be active. Um, yeah, yeah. So that's it for tonight, guys. That's it. Um, yeah, I think I think we understand. You know, we've said enough. So the hope. Let's see if good people still exist. Because if you're good and you're silent, then you're pretty much invisible. You don't exist. You know, if you say you're good and you believe that you are this type of individual, upstanding and all these things, if you remain silent and you don't do anything about it, when you have the power to do something about it, and you do have the influence and you occupy the office, if you don't do something about it, you're just as bad, if not worse, than the people who commit these atrocities. So let's move the conversation forward, guys. And hopefully this is the straw that breaks the camel's back in a good way. That will bring about the change that we seek and that we need. Because we need a change, and we need justice. As much as a man who is in a dry desert needs water, that's where we are. And we do have the power. So I'll leave it there. So guys, thanks for listening. Don't just come off this live stream and just go into your kitchen, go and drink something or eat some food, or just go to your bed or whatever. Just, I don't know, tweet something out. I don't know, make a post, do something. At least one action. Don't leave this live stream and say, okay, well, yeah, we spoke about it, so I vented for a second. Okay, that's enough, whatever the case is. Do some type of activity. I don't even know what it is. Whether it's for you to make a post, you to send a tweet, you to make a clip on your Instagram or whatever, or share this. I don't know, whatever the case is, do some form of action. I don't know what it is, but let your voice be heard. I'm not sure, but just do something, man. Just do something. Just do something. Write something. All right, guys. Bye for now.